It's Saturday, September 25th, and welcome to a new episode of You Don't Watch Sports. We will be your guiding light through the sea that is sports conversation. We'll cover 3 topics each week across the sports landscape, and then we invite you to use those topics for the following week in your day-to-day conversation. Use our thoughts, use our opinions for that awkward elevator moment where you don't know what to say. There's silence. This ride has been way too long. This is a 40-year-old male, white. He has a golf shirt on. Football. We got you. This is You Don't Watch Sports. I am your co-host, Bill Smith, alongside, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande, Omari Ellis.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you for coming up with this idea and giving me yet another excuse to talk with you every week.
Hell yeah, man.
About something that we both enjoy.
We both love sports. I am a big baseball fan, number one, with a bullet, mega bullet. And then I am a casual observer of almost everything else. Where would you point your sports landscape at?
All right, so I am more a football fan. American football, whatever, gridiron football, I'm more of a football fan of anything. After that, it comes to basketball. My basketball knowledge is not nearly as heavy, but it's getting more and more each year. I'm paying more and more attention. I find myself paying more and more attention to things in the regular and off season with basketball than I did in years prior. Cardinals fan, clearly, but I'm a postseason if they're involved when it comes to baseball. So this year, I probably won't know much about baseball postseason, unfortunately. And I'm also, those are my main sports, though.
And that's perfect for this because we are not experts. We're casual fans looking to provide a casual opinion to you, the even more casual fan, or no fan at all. You don't like sports, but you need something to talk to Gary about on the line while you're waiting for the chicken to cook. We got some topics for you, bud.
There we go.
All right, now we're going to jump right into our first seed of the day. We're dealing with 3 seeds again, 3 topics each week. First one is Tua, the Dolphins, and our 2-0 teams. So there's been lots of surprises in the NFL this season so far, including my favorite story so far, Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. Tua, who had a string of injuries and then that ugly visual hit last season, comes back and is just lighting the offense on fire. He is currently, I have the stats somewhere here. Tua has the fastest average time to throw and the highest average depth of target. Those 2 things aren't allowed to occur at the same time. If you get he's the fastest to throw the ball and he throws it the farthest, the most often. So the Dolphins are currently 2-0, along with a huge list of teams: Dolphins, Ravens, 49ers, Falcons, Saints, Bucks, Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders. Omari, I want to know from you, which of these 2-0 teams is real? Which one can I talk about this season? Which one is going to fail me? Which one's going to fall apart?
All right. So of the 2-0 teams that I think are really good, I like the Dolphins.
The Tua and O.
That's the main one I'm rooting for this season out of those that are currently at that. I do like Tua. I do like the Dolphins. I've got friends that are Dolphins fans, and that has also started to skew my fan, them in my favor over the years. Speaking of him this season, he had a quote about it that pretty much summates his mindset. Someone asked him, what did they feel about people who say that you can't do? And his response was, I don't care, 466. Because he had just thrown 466 yards. And he's like, I don't care, 466. I don't care about this narrative stuff anymore. I'm here to ball out and let my results do the talking. So that's who I'm going for. And with Tyreek, they were 8-0 or something before the big scary hit last season. And so they were dominant the last time he was fully healthy with Tyreek and Waddle, and they're still doing so. And I'd say their strong suit, the 49ers, as far as NFC goes, would be the most real out of whatever's going on. I think they're playing the Giants this week, so they're definitely still going strong. Christian McCaffrey, former Panther, he's balling out in addition to the people who already were. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, turn or quote unquote, turn it into,
Mr. Relevant.
The best Mr. Irrelevant ever.
Right.
He's coming back and he's still playing strong enough to where he kept his job over other former Panthers, Sam Darnold. Anyway,
okay, so we got the top of your category.
Well, the I wouldn't trust any team right now that's 2-0 in the NFC South.
Okay.
Just because the Saints the Saints and Falcons, both of their 2-0s, one of those is the Panthers. And the Panthers are not good this season.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but they ain't. And I'm saying it.
So yeah, you got a bullet point right there. So both the Saints and the Falcons, one of their victories was over the Panthers. So you can't trust that. That's a really good thing to say. You got that right there in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I love that bullet point.
Commanders.
I don't
trust.
Washington has to change the trust.
Yeah.
Washington has to effectively change the trust. You can't trust Washington until they make you trust Washington.
Yeah. Commanders, get them out of here.
I feel Washington can't even have a conversation until like week 12.
Right. And and to continue my NFC South thing and discredit one, if not both of their wins. The Buccaneers are the Vikings, a team that everyone thinks is going to go full tank in a second. And the Bears, a team that unfortunately is exploding right now.
Right. I almost had that as a topic, but it was too big of a deep dive for me to do a question on this right now.
Yeah.
All right. So
those are the most fraudulent teams on the list, would be the NFC South ones and the Commanders.
I love that. I love that. That's a good thing to bullet point. Like, don't trust the NFC South. We're not looking at that right now. We are, however, liking Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Go check them out. And we love Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, and the San Francisco 49ers. All right, on to topic 2, and my sport, baseball. So, Omari, there have been quite a few MLB rule changes this year, if you were aware of.
Pitch clock.
Were you aware of them?
Pitch clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the big one.
Yeah, a lot of things
that I'm aware of.
Yeah, they the changes were implemented to speed up the pace of play, make the game more engaging, address various aspects of the keep fun in the game of baseball kind of thing. And so we're now nearing the end of the season, and we're starting to see stats back from this. Right. Not only player stats, where offense is up across the league, games are on an average shorter by 25 minutes. The action between balls in play has been shrunk more than half. We are creating a much more exciting sport, a much more exciting product to view on television. The game of MLB has figured out that they need to start supporting their superstars and allowing the fun to be expressed on the field, all these things that were old mindsets of baseball. I ask you, just in the face of all of these efforts, can baseball ever really reclaim a spot in the top 2? They have fallen to probably America's third sport. I think that's a pretty easy conversation. There's going to be a lot of baseball heads that will fight you on that they're number 2, but NBA is number 2, NFL is number 1. Omari, are you entertained in watching a game knowing these things? Offense is up, steals are up, and the game will be a half hour shorter
Yeah.
for you.
To answer that latter question, yes, I am interested in watching a game. I'm kind of upset that the Cardinals were not good this season because I'm probably not going to end up watching a lot of them. Because, like I said earlier, that's when I pay attention is postseason if the Cardinals are there. There's 162 games of baseball, so that's part of why. But that does all sound good to me. I like the idea of it being a faster thing because I know outside of going to a ballpark and being at the game, because that's always enjoyable for me.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it on TV has always been seen as like, I don't want to watch no baseball. There really ain't nothing going on there. People say there's nothing going on in American football with the commercial breaks, but baseball, there's nothing going on when the game's going. So I'm happy
Yeah.
that they've sped it up by up to a half hour. That's huge. So
Yeah.
that sounds good. Now to your first question, the former, will it ever become number two or enter the top two of American sports? Highly unlikely at this point, primarily because basketball and football don't look to be slowing down at all. Basketball is slowly catching up with football when it comes to popularity here for various reasons. But football is still king. Football is still like every year going, oh, hey, more money on TV deals next year. Got another TV deal for like 500 billion more. What the just billions and billions and billions. But NBA rising up too. You're starting to see those contracts, those NFL style contracts come in with the NBA.
Yeah.
It's gotten so big that college football is starting to pay their athletes. So I don't see baseball going to top two, but I can see it being cemented at three and not being overtaken by hockey if it's more entertaining to watch than it used to be. As long as if they're starting to support their stars and everything like that, I can see it staying as a solid third in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, this is, we're talking about a game I love, and I love it dearly, and I watch when it's hard to watch this year. My own personal team, but normally I'm a guy who's watching 80 to 90% of the games of 162 plus playoffs. And that's not fully 100% of the game watching most of the time. That's channel surfing ish a little bit. But I don't see it moving, but like you said, it could cement. But I also don't see hockey surpassing it. I feel like
That's what I'm saying. I don't see hockey.
I feel like we're kind of locked in. You like, I would be interested to know, like, because it's just NFL just feels so dominating that it would be interesting to see a world where NBA would finally take that crown. I think if that's the case, then the NFL falls off the map. Like there's something that happens to football where it falls off the chart if it loses its top spot
at the moment. I see the rankings staying as they are, but there's less of a gap in between them as time goes on, is what I'm saying with NBA and NFL. At the moment, no, nothing's knocking NFL off here.
On to that second team in that chart. Damian Lillard and the NBA superstar problem. It has been more than 2 months since 7-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard told the Portland Trail Blazers he wanted to be traded. Yet as of today, Lillard remains with the team. Omari, in light of this, I wanted to ask you, in the age of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and even the prior super teams of Boston and Miami and LA and from LeBron and stuff. Does the NBA have a superstar problem? Is the fan experience lessened via the team hopping?
I will say it was, but things are starting to even back out now. You asked me like 2 years ago, I'm definitely like, because that's like Kyrie and what's his name, and Harden and others that are just every in year another team. Harden
I didn't
definitely,
mention Kyrie. I absolutely should have in that list.
yeah.
The problem
Hard,
is he hasn't. I haven't. He hasn't put in the time and the points to get
yeah,
superstar status.
yeah.
The last several years.
Around the time that the Nets were going like maximum on this, I'd say is where we were in full danger of that being a long-term thing. However,
Yeah.
because they crashed and burned, they crashed and burned. Because they crashed and burned as hard as they did, you get people coming out now. You get more of the younger stars being like, you know what, maybe I will stay with where I'm at and try and get this because super team is not as much of a guarantee as we thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I liked the Warriors. Well, the only thing that was like real super team about the Warriors was the fact, and obviously everybody on that team was good, but that made it the objectionable super team was the fact that Kevin Durant joined them. Everybody else on that fucking Kevin Durant team that mattered was drafted by the Warriors. I can't be mad at that super team for being that. It's just, oh, we added Kevin Durant to our 73-9 team.
Yeah. Yeah.
LeBron super teams were frustrating, but compared to what the Nets were doing, LeBron finished his contracts where he went.
See, yeah, that's where I land on these things is I do not mind a super team gathered by a group of individuals reaching free agency and deciding they want to play together. In fact, I almost applaud it. I loved it at the time in Miami.
Yep.
I love the idea of it. Like, oh man, if I had three friends and we were all NBA superstars,
I'm doing
like,
the same thing.
Yeah, you're creating your own super team.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I fulfilled my obligation to this team, at least time wise. The situation here ain't getting any better anyway. Why not go play with my buddies and we go try to get this thing done?
Yeah. Yeah. It's and honestly, I also feel different about a player under a rookie contract who is playing like a damn superstar and says, "Get me out of here." I don't really mind that either. But if you chose to be there, if you signed a contract and received millions of dollars knowing what you were signing up for, and if you didn't, you're stupid. I have no respect for any of those men
the
who
wearing the
say,
fat
"Get
suit,
me out of here."
the saying "get me out of here," they say no, so you wear a fat suit for like weeks,
Right?
and
You
try to act
quit.
like you're out of shape, and then they cut, and then they trade you. You're like, surprise! I was actually still in shape. I just wanted off of that team, and then a year or two later, you do the same thing to the team you just got traded to. And there's no fat suit, but I know he wants out of the 76ers now. But that's apparently he might have some legit gripes with the 76ers.
He's running out of teams.
But he's running out of teams, and I don't know all the details.
I know there was talk
76ers.
for a minute of Houston taking him back, and then eventually they were like, nah.
Yeah. Now, Dame is coming out. He wanted to get traded, but he also is saying stuff like he spoke out, I think, recently, or people are at the very least taking an older quote of his where he says he would never do the Kevin Durant. He said he'd never go to the Warriors like Durant did. He wouldn't go to a team that good.
That's the thing that upsets me is he had his opportunity. There was the summer of Damian Lillard. Where was Damian Lillard going to go somewhere? What was going to happen? And then he signed a huge extension with Portland. That's after you played there for years. You know their leadership. You know how they put together a team. You know you have put them on your back and dragged them kicking and screaming the farthest you've gotten in any particular season.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that Giannis is starting to get upset with Milwaukee, but at least when he signed his extension, it was just after winning a championship, so he had cause for optimism.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know what? Maybe I can just do stuff here on my own. That's fine. I just did it this year. You know what? Screw it. If I stay, I get more money, and I'm a king around here because
he's already got a chip.
That's what I'm saying. He brought a chip, so it's like I can sign that extension. And then years later, if he starts to regret it, like, all right, yeah, I want more than one chip, and I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. It's still kind of shady, like what you were saying, because you agreed to that time. But at least compared to a Dame, I could understand you signing the extension, because it ain't like Dame didn't know Portland don't win nothing when he signed that extension.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it like a scorn lover situation where he's gonna be different?
Yeah,
he promised he'd be better this time.
I can fix him.
All right. So those are your three topics this week, folks. We got the NFL, your 2-0 teams. Who's real? Who's not? The Miami Dolphins, not the Washington Commanders. You got MLB rule changes. Watch MLB baseball games. ESPN National Game on Sunday night is a great one to tune into. They do a great broadcast. They usually try and feature, the league's hottest teams at that time. And then NBA superstar problem. Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. Is it cool or not?
You decide.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
Omari, what do you got to tell him?
Yeah, if you want to catch us talk about other stuff on this channel, such as movies, we do a show every week, every Tuesday called This Guy Hasn't Seen, kind of the inspiration for the title of this show, where we trade movies back and forth, little movie club that we got going on. If you want, you can also catch me elsewhere on YouTube on the Whatever We Want podcast with new episodes every week, every Wednesday. I do that with a good friend of mine and good friend of the channel, Super Jazz. He and we talk about stuff. And I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Anything for you, Bill?
Right on. Nah, man. All right. We're going to have a good one. We'll see you next week. Bye.